Skynet algorithm takes over. I mean, this here, got the traversers. There's a couple things over here I wanted to point out too. So, Kurt said because this is like a weird version of the map and they've extended the map boundaries, sometimes you get some weird stuff with level of detail, like the floating bushes there. These trees look weird. See how they're kind of floating as well. And also this, there's a giant hole in the ground. So that isn't in the VR map, but because it's not supposed to be playable, in this version, you get this weird stuff happening. I mean, that is really low level of detail.
Alright.
The lighthouse. Can I go up it?
I think we're live. It should be good.
Ah, no. I thought we'd be able to. It looks like PlayStation 1. No.
Don't know.
PlayStation 1's back. Now, this is the sad thing about this. So, in multiplayer, in the server browser here, you can see some things that people are playing right now. And then we can go to filters and we can search Gulf of Linden. And all these servers are up and running, but no one's playing on them. There's 5 people at the top. That's it. But because there's no XP, and I think they got rid of the bot backfill, and there's custom logic here, you just don't get any XP. You don't get anything from playing on these. Yeah, they're fun. I agree, like a full 64-player game with real people would be pretty fun, but there's no incentive to play on them right now. Now, to their credit, DICE did actually feature a custom portal mode here in featured, see here. So most people click on multiplayer, right? Like they go here. They don't click on featured.
I'll be right back.
Snipers versus runners.
Don't go anywhere, Chad.
This is really fun. But everyone's clicking here. Featured, snipers v runners. And I've played this in a video already, but I'll just show you guys how it works. So it says here modified XP with 100% hardware XP. I'm not entirely sure what that means, just for guns. But here on the right, see, it's like you don't get anything. You just get the match completion bonus. So even though they featured it, like there's still not really that much incentive. But if you click play, it should actually put me in a match. There you go. So it put me in a match, and there's real people in it. And this is just like the lobby area, and it's gonna sort the teams into snipers and runners. But yeah, there's people playing this. It's a bit different, it's a bit fun, and because they featured it, look, there you go. People are on it. Snipers up there. So they just have to shoot the runners, and the runners have to get to the end and press the button. I think this was in Halo originally, wasn't it? Please correct me if I'm wrong, but you know, this is the first time that I think I've played one of these custom modes, and there's been people one at a time, lads. But it's because they featured it, and it was easy to get into the match. It was visible, it was easy to get into. But the XP thing, I think, is a big turn-off.
I had to get my spoon.
Like that Gulf of Linden map that I was just showing you guys. That's really cool. That's like free content that the community is making for the game. And it's on Conquest. Yeah, it's a custom version of Conquest. And I realised that the things with the LOD, the level of detail, where the map doesn't quite look right, maybe they don't want to be featuring that, but I think if they want Portal to succeed, they're going to have to embrace a bit of the chaos before they get it right, you know? Like, if they had featured that Gulf of Linden experience, as well as this, let's say, I mean, I'm not putting this down because I think this is cool, but a massive map on Conquest that people can play, and they're officially hosting servers for it, and you can get full XP on it. I mean, the Gulf of Linden thing, it's obviously not a bot farm. Surely they can just, surely they can just get someone to manually look at it and go, okay, this isn't a bot farm. It works. We can support this. We can enable full XP on it for everything. I would love to see a bit more engagement from DICE and Battlefield Studios, like on that front. I've almost done this. I'm just going to press this here. That's it, GG. I feel like they should be giving that kind of thing full XP, because it is just around the Conquest on a big map. So you know, the runners have to hunt down the snipers. I don't know, but yeah, it's it's still a bit of a mess, really, Portal, and I like the fact that they featured a game mode like this, but like those big maps, and I think they should be leaning into that a bit more, you know? And also, it's about player behaviour, and I've talked about this many times before. People are not using the server browser because you can't get the quick play official servers in there. The behaviour isn't there, they're just clicking on the tiles. So, yeah, I'd love to see some change and improvement here from the development team and incentivise people to use the server browser more, use Portal more, support it a bit better, because there's so much potential here, and it is just the community making stuff for free. Like the amount of hours I would spend playing that large conquest map, I'd probably make it like a couple of different
Who the dog is it gonna be?
and have a good time with it. But right now,
Fuck.
I don't think the incentive is there for people to kind of play on that kind of thing. They need to start supporting it better, for sure.
We gotta go find another dog.
Anyway, that's all for today, guys. I thought I'd showcase that because it's pretty cool that they put.
We are gardeners.
We are farmers.
Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
We bought this abandoned and unloved bungalow 8 months ago now, and since then we've been trying to renovate and build it into our dream home. The plan is to add 2 dormers to the front of our bungalow to create space for a couple bedrooms and a couple bathrooms upstairs. And we're going to be adding a huge single-storey extension out the back. And this is going to house our kitchen diner area. It's fair to say this journey hasn't come without a few complications. But I guess these problems are inevitable when you're trying to do all of the work yourselves as just a pair of relatively inexperienced 25-year-olds. We're about to show you every step of our journey over the last 8 months and talk to you about how much this whole project has cost us so far, which, considering we're doing almost all of the labour ourselves, it's a surprisingly high cost. Wow, that's a lot. This is also a good time to mention that throughout this whole video, you might see a couple extra faces helping us out with some labour. And these people mostly include Alfie, Harry's childhood best friend, who is working on the house with us a couple days a week, and Doug, our brother-in-law, who mucks in for a day every few weeks. So with that, let's get into the crazy last 8 months we've just had. So as for the current layout of this bungalow, it was very, very dated and old. We've got a living room on the left, a bedroom on the right, another bedroom behind that one which is a lot smaller. Then we've got a bathroom towards the back, which is again very, very dated. And then a kitchen, which will soon become our utility room. And upstairs it is just one big room, which will become 2 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. And as you can see, the roof of our house is absolutely massive. The pitch is really big, and so it is basically asking for 2 dormers right on the top of it.
So our first major job was to tackle this front driveway from garden situation, because currently there's no parking and it is extremely derelict, and the garden had been left for over a decade, and there was a massive slope tilting down to the house. So this was our first major job. Thank God we had some motivated friends ready to help us.
Good to go, Saji?
Yeah,
Feeling good?
yeah,
Feeling fresh?
yeah.
We started tackling the massive jungle that we currently had growing in the front garden. And once that was complete, it was time to rent out our first digger of the project. Now, for a little bit of perspective for you guys, a digger hire of this size is around £270 for a week, which isn't too bad, obviously plus the fuel and little bits and bobs. But embarrassingly, when we first rented this digger, we actually had to call people we rented it from and ask, how do we turn this thing on? Now, that's not a very reassuring message to send to people renting the digger, but oh well. So our main goal for this parking area was to create 3 usable tiers. 1 for parking, 1 for turf, and 1 for a porch and patio area at the front door. These would all be held up by retaining brick walls. So we had to dig some foundations for these walls. This was a big first job. Now the digger could only get us so far before we had to start hand digging these foundations. And for anyone that's done that before, you know that clay, when wet, is a sloppy mess.
Do you want me to make a sculpture? I did it for A-level. I did it for AS level. I used to be exceptional sculptor. I'm not joking.
Turns out you definitely can't sell clay or make sculptures out of this stuff. So we ended up just using it to fill the skip or to take down to the back of the house where we will be using it later on as backfill. Now, because the clay was so wet and we were doing all of this work in about October time at this point, the trenches filled up super quick. We tried to empty them with buckets but ended up having to get a pump. because they just kept refilling. It was now time to dig the second wall's foundations, and this is where we came across our first massive problem.
Is that a gas pipe, lads? I mean, there's something there. Yeah, I hit it. Smell gas, I think.
Can confirm it was leaking. Not ideal when the concrete truck is turning up right now. A very stressful situation, but we managed to get our first concrete pour done for these foundations and for the top wall foundations in just a day. And on the note of backbreaking work, it was time to start bringing the bricks down for these brick retaining walls. Now these are special bricks called hollow blocks. They're meant to be really strong. And this was the first point we went out and outsourced some labour with a bricklayer on a day rate and a labourer, just to make this process happen even quicker, because we were gagging for some off-road parking. Now there was still plenty of work for us to do around this bricklayer. I don't know if you can see Nikki, she's kind of filling in all of these holes with the concrete that we had hand knocked up. And then you put metal rebar through them, which basically makes the walls super, super structural.
You're famous at the end of it then, Nick.
No, you will be, yeah.
I did a TikTok last night.
You?
It's fair to say Mick was enjoying his time on camera too. Now, if you guys are buying a house on a hill or on a slight slope, you have to get this point right, because it is holding back so much weight from the ground above. And a very important note is that you need to add in sufficient drainage. So we added in a French drain here, and that just basically takes all of the water that sinks to that level away, basically so it doesn't flip the wall over with the additional weight of the water. Very important point. But at this point, we're beginning to see the transformation happen. We've got the wall built, we can start to backfill it, and this is going to be our massive driveway section at the top by the road. And this was really starting to take shape as a driveway now. We built a sleeper return on one side to really box in this parking area, and it was starting to look kind of pucker at this point. This was the first transformation, and it'd been kind of like a good couple of weeks of work to get to this point, and we were feeling pretty rewarded. Get the whacker plate out, whack all of that MOT Type 1 down, and then just to try and get rid of a tree stump, which, easier said than done by the way. These tree grinders are great bits of kit, but it's physical work. We then knocked out the second wall down by the front of the house, which, when was built, these walls look pretty intimidating, pretty scary. They are going to get finished by us here with some sand and cement render. Now the first coat that goes on, you just slap that coat on. It doesn't matter how it looks because you scratch it up anyway. That gives you a nice coarse surface to put your second finishing coat on top of. Now this was our first real go at external rendering, and it could have gone better, but these walls we think are going to look rustic. That's what they're going to look. No wall is perfect. We didn't want it to be perfect. But this plasterer's float really cleaned it up nicely, as you can see. And then after a sponge, I mean, they look passable as a decent wall. Once again, definitely not perfect, but we were happy with it. And these will get painted an off-white eventually. This just left us one more project out front, and that was to expand these existing stairs down to the front door.
Okay, people thought you were in pink pants. People thought you had no boxes on.
With that side, we cracked on with these steps. Now, because there was existing steps there already, all we had to do was strip them back and dig out the part on the left between the wall and the steps. After carefully throwing some bricks,
That was short.
we were almost ready to start laying them, which was very exciting because you can see how much more grand these steps look when you kind of widen them up. We don't want it to be kind of a precarious walk down to our front door. We want it to feel grand. That is the main aim for the front of the house here. So we cracked on with some bricklaying and did this ourselves this time. Alfie, our friend, is a decent little bricklayer, it turns out. I mean, we kind of did all the labouring and mucking around him. Hopefully here you can begin to see what the house looked like when we bought it. And then just a month or so later, we'd made a lot of headway along the way. Like, there was definitely a work in progress still out here, but we'd made some really usable parking. And the vision is there. If you guys have a creative mind, you can probably see the vision we're on about. This is gonna look good. But time for the next project.
So the next project we cracked on with was the bathroom. And me and Harry were currently living at his mum's house, and we needed to move into this building site as soon as possible so that we could crack on with the work. And in order to live on site, we needed a working bathroom.
It's about to come off the back, look. It is soft. See, look there.
Okay, that's the garage. obviously involved a lot of the demo work, which is probably the
This is
funnest
actually kind
and
of a
easiest
dope
part of the
fucking
whole
area.
thing. We also took this window out of the back because the bathroom is so small that we wouldn't have been able to fit a shower where we needed it to fit unless this was blocked up. And this actually created quite a lot of controversy in the comments because a lot of people hate the idea of having no window in a bathroom. But for me and Harry, it was a very, very obvious thing to do because, funnily enough, we both grew up in family homes where the family bathroom had no window. So it didn't seem like a crazy idea to us. And of course, obviously, if it's ventilated, then there should be no qualms. So yeah, as you can see, we bricked up this window on both sides, and we got a lot of comments at the time saying, why have you not insulated the inside cavity? And that is because we are doing insulation on the outside of the house later on. Now it is time for tiling, and this is Alf's thing. If you ask Alf what he is best at, he will say tiling, and he is bloody good at what he does. So we went for this marble effect on the floor, which I think is giving kind of high-end vibes. As you know, the last couple of weeks on site, it has been absolutely boiling for me and Harry. And what has been getting us through are these waifu ready-to-drink complete meals. As you guys know, Harry constantly bangs on about the vanilla flavour. And recently, when we've had people over to our house, we have been putting all of our waifus in our freezers, which is crazy. And once we get it out of the freezer, they are like ice pops, and we kind of like suckle them out, and they are perfect for this weather. Which brings me on to the summery flavour, which is the cherry one that they've got out at the moment. This is the one that I've been really enjoying recently. It's actually still got 27 grams of protein and 26 vitamins and minerals. So I know I'm keeping my body fueled throughout the day, and I'm not even thinking about it too much, and it's really, really enjoyable and delicious. And because we have been so busy at the moment, I keep mentioning about our burnout at the moment, but it is a thing. It's been perfect because we just grab these on the go. They are ready to drink, and it means no meal prep time, which is awesome, especially in the afternoons when we're getting a little bit hungry. So if you are interested and you're a new customer of Waifu, then you can use the link in the description below and get 20% off. But hurry, because that is only valid for 7 days. And if you are a returning customer, you still get a whopping 10% off. Just use the link in our description. Anyway, we're going to go drink one of these, and we'll see you in a little bit.
Right, let's mark out how big this shower's going to be and then go from there, shall we?
And then we went on to working out where all of our things were going to be in this bathroom. Once we worked that out, we were able to cut out and chase all of where the pipes were going to go. That included the pipes for the shower, the sink basin, and the radiators. And then obviously we made sure it was all level. We also needed to do 4 spotlights in this bathroom, so we drilled them out and then basically waited for the plasterer to come to plaster the ceiling and the 2 walls that weren't going to be tiled. And once he'd done that, we were able to crack on with the tiling on these 2 walls. And by we, I mean Harry and Alf's. And because this is Alf's thing, Harry was labouring for him, and Alf was the big man doing all the tiling work.
Mate, you're like, I feel like an abused like dog, but like I love it when I get praise from you. You're like, well done. I'm like, well done, so I did good.
And the sort of relationship they have whilst doing this honestly cracks me up. Now, tiling is something that me and Harry have done before in a past project, but it was something we absolutely hated. So we are so lucky that Alf's here, really enjoys tiling, and is bloody good at it too. Then we went on to grouting all of the tiles. We went for the same colour on both different tiles, and it was kind of a light grey colour, basically just to fit in with the theme. Then our plumber Tom came in and he plumbed in the toilet and the shower, which we were very overexcited about.
Toilet's flushing. I've never been so excited in my life.
And then we finished off popping the shower in. And then we realised we actually needed to paint the walls, and we painted it with sort of a bathroom paint. And then we put in this beautiful vanity unit from Easy Bathrooms, and it comes with a marble quartz top, which is awesome. And this is the mirror we went for too.
This is exactly how we wanted the bathroom to be.
Now this bathroom is still unfinished to this day because we just basically wanted to put in what we needed, a working toilet and a working shower. So don't judge it because it doesn't look much better than what it originally started out as. But I assure you, by the time we have finished and actually got lights in there, and got all of the accessories and everything else we need, it's going to look awesome. So you're just going to have to subscribe and stick around to see what it really ends up looking like. And now it is time to move on to this other project, which is this seriously overgrown back garden. As you can see, there were nettles everywhere and a ton of trees and bushes and foliage. So we got started on trimming this all down and making it a little bit more bearable. And the reason we were kind of doing this now is because we had a little bit of time to kill because we were waiting for the planning permission to come through for our big extension that we had going on at the back of the house. And clearing all of this also helped us kind of understand the space that we had to work with at the back of our house too. And when I say this garden's very big and it goes on forever, I'm not kidding. It is on a 1/4 acre plot, and we had 2 hidden greenhouses we didn't even know were there. So we needed to get rid of those, and we also got rid of 3 wooden sheds. And a whole lot of bushes here, which we got some tree surgeons in to do, and they absolutely smashed it. And now that they took all of those bushes and tree foliage away from the middle of the garden, we can now see kind of the second tier going down, and we can trim all of that too. So this is what it looked like before we did that little bit of trimming, and this is what it looked like after. And on the drone shots you can see here where all of those bushes and foliage were that were dividing the garden, and now all of that stuff is gone. And it means we can get going with the extension as soon as that planning gets through.
Planning Commission has come back, and we can't believe we're about to say this, but our planning commission's been accepted!
As you can tell, we were pretty excited about this news because it meant we could start our rear single-story kitchen diner extension, which is being shown by us here. This is where it's going to go out the back of the house. And here's a rough render of what it's going to look like. Obviously, this is all very rough, but you get the idea of the space that we are creating. It is about an 8 by 5 meter extension, so for that you need a lot of blocks and a motivational team talk.
Saj and Doug, your main strategy for the start is, I reckon, these sandbags.
But also, we're not in a massive rush. We're all about safety here today.
Obviously,
Safety and happiness.
Honestly, thank God we had so many friends to help us move all of these blocks and sand down to the rear of our house, because without it we would have been in massive trouble. Just for a bit of perspective for you, the cost of all of these blocks for our 8 by 5 meter extension was £1,924, which I think is pretty cheap considering. For a bit of perspective for you on what this room is actually going to be, it's going to be our kitchen diner, which, as you guys know, is the heart of the home these days. It's hopefully going to have enough room for a beautiful kitchen up one end and then a living area down the bottom, fit with bifolds on the back. It should be amazing if we can get it right. Our first problem really came when we needed to get a digger to the back of our house, and we had no access. I mean, we had a few options of going down the side passage of the house, but that was really steep and there were tree stumps in the way. The other option was to crane the digger over the top of the house, but because of these overhead lines, that was a no-go too. So our final option was to go through the garage. Now, this did mean taking a hole out of the back of the garage, which, when we were successful, we were pretty chuffed about. So we were pretty stressed about building this ramp. But we just thought we'd do it the way we knew how, and that was out of sleepers and then just putting a hell of a load of crush and rubble in there, which we got delivered. And that was a good day's work in itself. But it was now time for the moment of truth. Can we get the digger down the ramp safely without tipping? After starting off with a wobble, we got it down fine.
Who's that stallion on a horse?
So it's officially time to start setting out our extension. And then breaking ground on the extension, which is a huge day.
1.8 is there.
Alright, so not far off.
Oh, about 20 off. Serious.
So day one, we dug a whole line of the extension, just to come out the next day to this.
You might be able to see that the trench behind us here, overnight, has caved in, which is so annoying.
This did have quite a simple solution though, luckily for us, and that was just to use something called shuttering, which is when you kind of build a frame to stop it from caving in again.
Situation.
He has tipped.
Well, I haven't fully tipped.
We were flying through the foundations at this point, but unfortunately we didn't inform our friends what we were getting them into.
Did you know what you had in store for today when we texted you saying come over?
You did, I was expecting it. Absolutely not.
You probably should have said.
Just slides out.
Oh, that is
Like a glove.
With the foundations dug, it was time for the concrete pour. Now, for a bit of perspective for you guys, this concrete pour was done 3 days before Christmas, so it was freezing cold, and we just really wanted to get it done. The reason you can see us here building a retaining wall in the back garden is because we needed to get rid of all of this spoiled clay that had come out from digging the foundations. So we dug a wall a bit further back down the hill so that we had a nice area to fill with all of this clay. because getting it back to the front of the property would have been a hell of a lot of work, and it means we can tear off our garden nicely. So a winner all round really, yeah.
Today is the day we officially start block laying our extension.
This is where the extension got exciting, and it was time to lay blocks, as you just heard. We started knocking up some muck and invited our old bricklayer Mick round, who helped us do the front walls, and he started teaching us how to set out and how to really lay bricks efficiently and properly. So you have to do a few courses, as you can see us doing here, on the inside and outside skin to get to the level where your floor joists run in. This is below the damp-proof course, so it all is done out of concrete blocks. Now from here you put your floor joists in, put your damp-proof course on, and you can start laying the inside skin in something called thermalite blocks.
I've officially been promoted to being back on the trowel and block laying.
Now what these blocks are is they're basically lighter than concrete blocks, these thermalite blocks, and they're just so much easier to lay, and they have better insulation properties. So we got rolling with them and we were flying through it. Bricklaying technique definitely still wasn't 10 out of 10, but it was starting to look a lot better than it ever was, which was great news for us.
We are flying through it today. Nikki's made chicken, stuffing and brie, I believe is in this, with cranberry.
If you guys haven't done much building before, most buildings in the UK are built with two skins, an inside skin and an outside skin. And then in between them you have a cavity which is filled with this insulation here. It's important you put these red clips on it to pin it back to the inside skin to keep an air gap in that cavity to stop moisture getting from the outside to the inside. A very niche but important point.
Nick, how's this not? Right.
You're getting there, girl, you're getting there. Well done.
Mick was starting to hopefully get a bit more impressed with us, because when he started out we were pretty useless, but he was doing one wall while we were powering on with the other, knocking up all of the muck for us. Muck is just kind of the mortar that goes between the bricks. Above our openings we then installed these Catnick lintels, which basically sit above openings and allow you to lay bricks on top of them. These are very important, otherwise the bricks would just fall down on your head above the doors, but they were pretty easy to install, so that was good news. And the sun was coming out, so we were getting away with it here, or so we thought.
Wow, that was close.
I can't believe that. What's just happened has?
We've had a big hailstorm, but we're back on track. We're going to start laying again and see what we can do.
We got a quick humble reminder that we were renovating the middle of winter, but the insulation was going in and the outside skin was going up by us, and we were feeling pretty good about it at this point. I mean, every day was pretty similar. This took us a good, God, I'm hazarding a guess here, but I reckon it was a good couple of weeks of bricklaying and kind of insulating and all of that stuff. It doesn't take as long as you might think, to be fair. On goes the big steel that sits above our bifold doors at the back. We had many hands help us lift this one on, and that went on a breeze as well, and we just bricklayed above it. Anyway, it was now time for the next step in this process.
And that is the roof.
The roof.
The roof?
The roof.
The roof.
We started by bringing all of our timber to the back of the house, and these rafters
I could swear I saw another portal over here, but I guess I'm going crazy.
You could literally build a house on top of these. But these just slot into place nice and easily on top of the wall plates that we installed on top of the inside skin of our brick wall earlier. After building this structure, we then started thinking about the sky lantern that we were fitting in the middle of our extension, and started studying out for that as well and hanging joists off of it. It was all pretty self-explanatory. Anyone can do this. Honestly, I promise you, you can do this if you're thinking about doing a flat roof. They're doable. Then all the joists were in place. It was time to think about our oversight, I believe it's called, which goes below your floor just to stop any growth growing. So we just did a concrete base down there. Pretty laboursome, but pretty straightforward and just a grueling day, really. But then it got onto the more technical stuff of building the top layer of our roof. Now the first thing that goes on is furrings, and these are basically to allow a slope on the flat roof so all of the water runs off. You then do a sheet of OSB layer, which was wet and cold, and Nick was a little bit scared.
How do you feel up there?
I felt really nervous at first, but now I feel fine. Now I'm up here, I'm feeling like a bit of a warrior.
Yeah?
Especially because it's raining. Because we're working, I'm feeling cold, so I feel like a bit of a badass bitch.
Damn, it feels good to be a gangster.
You're like a hot, wet mess.
Now it gets to a bit more of the technical bit. We were studying out our fascias, and it's worth mentioning that we were building a warm flat roof, meaning the insulation sits on top of this first layer of OSB, It's a lot easier to do, I'll be honest with you, because you don't have to cut up all the insulation, but it does create a problem where you have a really tall roof. We also started studying out for our sky lantern, making sure that the frame went well above our insulation layer, which we were beginning to put down now, but first the damp proof membrane. Honestly, I thoroughly enjoyed building this roof. I thought it was coming together really quick. I mean, obviously this is very sped up footage, but really satisfying job for anyone to do. I don't know why, but I clearly do love building a flat roof, so give it a go. Anyway, then top layer of OSB on top of that, which is the exact same as the bottom layer, but just you've got to do it the same again and build a little sandwich. And then you are on to your final layer, which we decided to use EPDM, which is definitely a more DIY finish than the kind of single ply membrane stuff. Also a lot cheaper, and you can do it yourself. And it was a really good product.
Ride the crime on the feet. Oh.
Me and Alfie didn't really do our research on exactly how to install it properly, hence our kind of naivety in this area and slipping around on it, but it is a great product, I promise you. And this was all done in just a day, this top layer, and it was watertight. And then the sky lantern went in, which was beautiful. It's added so much light to the room below. Without that, the room would have been super dark, so we're super chuffed we did that. First time either of us have done anything like that, and it went on pretty easily in the end, a bit of a breeze. Started installing some of the fascia boards, which, yeah, because we went for a warm roof, you can see that these fascia boards are huge. Which is fine. I mean, we're going to make it look more traditional, make it look a bit quirky, but that is one of the negatives of having a warm roof. On the note of insulation, it was then time to insulate the whole floor, which was a tedious job because we had to fit it in between the joists, as you can see, and get it so snug that it doesn't fall down. Not an easy one. Then just a top layer of flooring, and then removing this window which connected our old utility room to our kitchen, and that meant the return of Nikki likes to think she's a bit of a bricklayer. I'm not too sure she's a qualified one, but she's passionate about her bricks, and that is what we love. YouTube's favourite bricklayer, I like to think, but I guess I can say that because it's not self-proclaimed. Her finish still leaves a little bit to be desired, but God does she put some effort in. A quick bit of plasterboarding in the kitchen diner extension. Now this really changes the room from like a building site into beginning to look like an actual livable space, which is a crazy time. Obviously before this we had a first fix electrics done, which we didn't do ourselves. We spent about £7,000, I believe, on the whole electrics for the whole house, so not so bad. But this is a really satisfying job, but also very labour intensive. Bear that in mind if you're ever doing dot and dab. Knocking up that adhesive that you use to glue it to the wall is pretty intense. You need a lot of it. And luckily we had a plasterboard lifter to help us do the roof and to screw all these in, because otherwise there would have been a lot of hands above the head arguments going on. This I could not recommend enough, honestly, that tool. Can't remember the official name of it. I'll call it a plasterboard lifter. Definitely get one of them if you're doing a big room like this with high ceilings. Couldn't recommend it enough. So this is the point that I'm going to talk to you about costs, because this extension, before plastering, cost us a grand total of materials of £22,908. That's not just materials, that is including a bit of money for the bricklayer as well, a bit of money here and there. But £22,908 has got us to this point on the extension. If you guys are thinking about doing an extension, this is a 35.5 square metre extension, so I think it's not bad going. I mean, let us know in the comments if you think we've spent too much on this point, but I like to think it's pretty good. We've done a lot of the labour ourselves, so definitely have kept the costs down, I somewhat think. But after a plaster and a paint, the room is pretty transformed now. You can see it really starting to come together, and the vision is coming to life.
So the next thing we cracked on with was the underfloor heating. Now this was really important to us because we love the idea of having warm feet, especially when we've got tiles underneath them. And again, we DIY'd this all ourselves. We actually used a company called Wunder, who basically make it really, really super simple for you and kind of tell you exactly where you need to lay your pipes. So that is what we did, and it was very simple. Now moving on to our tiles. Now we had these beautiful farmhouse tiles. They're kind of like a creamy colour, and I was going for that sort of country core cottage vibe here, and I think these tiles really, really show that. But when we laid this first row of tile, we came to realise that the floor was a little bit out of level. So on one side we were doing really, really thick muck, and on the other side it was basically touching the floor. So we screeded one side of the floor, and that basically brought it up to where we needed it to be. And that meant we could continue with tiling this floor. And this was actually quite hard because the tiles were so heavy. and we still needed quite a lot of tile adhesive under the right side of all of these tiles. But slowly but surely, after a few different sessions coming and going back from sort of tiling and then doing a different project and coming back to complete the fixes, we ended up doing it, and of course we did crack a few tiles.
Oh my god. I'm done.
Split it.
I jumped on it and split.
And that kind of was a bit of a breaking point for Harry, as you can see. And here's a little spoiler of what they look like with the kitchen. But anyway, as for the kitchen, we got our kitchens from DIY Kitchens, and we wanted a really grand big kitchen with a huge island in the middle, enough to seat 6 stools around them. For us, the kitchen really is the heart of the home, and we absolutely love cooking, so this was really important to us. As you can see, we basically popped all of these units in place. They came already made, so we didn't need to sort of flat pack them and make them from scratch, which was amazing. And we went for the colour Muscle, and the design is called the Helmsley unit from DIY Kitchens.
In the bottle.
Oh, it's like mistletoe. This is what people do this.
So yeah, as you can see, we were getting a little bit stir crazy. Anyway, as for the TV unit, we saw this one in the DIY Kitchens showroom, and we thought we would try and recreate it in the other half of our kitchen. Because we're planning on either having a dining table here or a little L sort of sofa area, because we kind of want it to be quite cozy, and we've already got 6 seats around the island, so it might make sense to make this more of a cozy area. So we were just basically adding all of the trim and all of the cornices. The Helmsley range have the most beautiful detailing, as you can see, and we were pretty happy with the result of this. Of course, a TV media unit is not complete without a TV, so we popped one of those on the walls too. And then it was time for Origin to come in and fit our bifold doors. And we went for these sort of Soho contemporary bifold doors, and I think they worked really, really well with the space, especially because we went for a black island. As you can see, these 2 walls were still unplastered because we wanted to get these doors in before plastering. So this is what they look like sort of with the kitchen in situ, and they're just stunning. And then it was time for the quartz to go in, and as you can see, we went for this beautiful quartz with a beveled edge. It's got sort of veining in it that's silver and gold, and we could not be happier with how this kitchen is looking. Obviously, it's still far from complete. We haven't grouted the floor, we haven't put any pelmets on. All of the light fixtures still need to go on, all of the cornices need to go on still. There's a lot more that needs to get done. But for the time being, whilst we're living on site, it means we're able to cook all of our meals here, and that's so important to us. And as you can see, if you've got some vision, you can imagine how this is going to look.
Now, the latest project we've taken on is by far the biggest, and that is turning this bungalow into a 2-story house, with the addition of 2 front dormers shown in the picture here, and then 1 dormer at the rear, which is going to match the existing flat roof dormer and just make the upstairs a whole lot bigger. Now, when you say the words a whole lot bigger, you know that means it's going to be quite a big project for us to carry out. And first off, we got our report back from our structural engineer, and it turns out we needed to add a total of 13 steels to the house to allow for these dormers. About half of these steels landed on the middle floor between the ground and first floor, which you can see us installing here. And these were going to take the weight of steel posts, which were going to go up into the roof and take the weight of the steels in the ridge and on the edge of the dormers. So these steels needed to be put in right, but luckily Alfie and I have done a few steels now together, and I think we cracked them pretty good in the end. I'll talk about the total cost of steels later as you see the other ones go in, but now it was demolition derby time upstairs. This had been long overdue, and it was time to just get rid of all of the plasterboard and all of the stud walls up there and start going back to that blank canvas space. If you guys don't know what these are that we're installing here, these are called pad stones. You can see us cutting out holes for them in the brickwork, and you basically just pop another stone in there, but it's a stronger stone that has the steel sit directly on top of it. After stripping back a load of floorboards upstairs, which, by the way, is one of the longest and tedious jobs in the world, we then started to create space for our final steel between the ground and middle floor. Another way we made so much more space upstairs is we took down our chimney breast, because boy, it was bulky, and you will not believe how many bricks came out of this thing. But imagine if you slipped down there by accident.
You ain't fitting down there, your head is barely fitting there. You're in. Stop ya.
After a bit of light encouragement from Alfie that I wasn't going to die by slipping down the chimney breast, we powered on and started really opening up the space, as you can see. Now, we did consult our structural engineer before doing this, and I definitely recommend doing that before doing it like this, because they can be tied to the structure of the house. Luckily, ours was not. A very mucky job.
House, yo, steel's it here, mate.
And then we were on to the final steel on the ground floor, which we were very excited about, as you can tell, because it looked like a heavy boy. Now, DIYers definitely can do this job, but I would recommend getting someone in with some experience, because this structural work is daunting and has to be done right. But anyone can do it with enough experience and ideally some eyes on it that know what is going on a little bit more. Anyway, back upstairs now, all the steels are in situ, and back onto a very mucky and dusty job of stripping the upstairs. This is a job anyone can definitely do, but would not recommend to a friend because it's not very fun, I'm going to be honest with you. We were getting bored and trying to make a bit of a light-hearted of the situation though.
How strong do you think they are? Come on, you've been putting on muscle recently.
That does not feel steady.
No, go, 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 go. Go.
Now with the upstairs stripped, there was another project we had to keep our eyes on, because this porch that we are planning on building at our front door here is going to tie into the new roof we build. Here's some beautiful inspo pics of it here. It's going to be a beaut oak porch. Nikki absolutely loved the idea of doing something like this, and it has paid off, I can tell you. Anyway, that meant we were back onto the mucky job of digging foundations. Now, we couldn't get a digger down to this bottom tier that we built, so it was time to hand dig, which we kind of made a little mistake on, because as far as I'm aware now, building regulations don't apply to external front porches, and we thought they did, and our building regs said to go 1.2 metres, I believe. So we hand dug 1.2 metres of clay, which was a sick joke, and then poured in our own mixed concrete. This took about 25 mixes maybe of concrete. It was a good few £100. Back upstairs and back onto the jobs of ripping up floorboards, because we had to double up on some floor joists to add some structure to allow these dormers to sit correct, and for where we wanted our freestanding bath, we had to double up on some rafters. Super satisfying here, scaffolding is going up. This is when the house becomes a building site. And I stay out of the way of that and let them crack on with their job, because I've got an important job on of laying the bottom brick wall of the porch, because I don't know if you saw in the inspo pics, we want the bottom of the porch to be bricked to a certain height and then oak on top of it. Alfie did the other one, and I hate to say it, his was probably a little bit better, and that really does hurt me every time. So bricklaying completed, on to ripping off the roof. This is when things start getting exciting. You start thinking, what the hell have we got ourselves into? But if you're ever stripping a roof, the tiles came off in about 40 minutes. It was more getting rid of them. We just made a pile, and we're going to deal with that later, because I don't even want to think about that right now. Then off came the battens, which were pretty much falling off at this point, and the felt. Nikki tackled the tiles on the back of the house. She's standing on the flat roof of the dormer there that you can see, and that's the one we're eventually going to be expanding to span where we are stripping the tiles there, so it's going to add a whole lot more room upstairs. Anyway, now the rafters started coming off, which was not as easy as it looked, but we started getting the roof down, and we officially now just had a whole sun deck instead of a second floor, so that was interesting to live like that for a good few weeks, sleeping downstairs, exposed to all the elements. Wouldn't really recommend that, but you know, beggars can't be choosers. Now it was time to start fitting these final steels. These steels here are going on the ridge. You can see we called in some help of 2 local carpenters who were fantastic. We just got them in on dailies, and this saved us massively because they knew exactly what they were doing. We were extra hands on site and constantly helping them. There were so many jobs to be done around them. It was definitely a 4 or 5 man job. But they got to do the more technical stuff, whilst we kind of boshed all of the work down and made sure they had all the bits they needed. It's definitely a great way of working if you want to get involved in some DIY, but you think a task might be a little bit too much for you. Hire a professional on a day rate and do all of the work around them. Like stripping this flat, which was 4 layers of felt, and boy was it heavy. Anyway, now we let the chippies chip, and the chippies were chipping and starting to get these rafters up. The bespoke cuts they have on the end of them, a little bit complicated for me and Nix, but we were helping move all the rafters round, and we were drilling holes between all the treble and double rafters, which were going to seat our Velux window and our dormer edges. Drilling the holes and bolting them all together, because that is building regs. A good bit of banter on site is always needed. These guys definitely brought the energy, that is for sure. But unfortunately that did not save us when the heavens decided to open on us. And we got very demotivated and worried about the downstairs living situation.
It's fair to say it's absolutely just shattered down. And to be honest, I'm feeling pretty down about it.
But the next day it perked up and we were back on perky form and boshing the final steel in this house renovation. This is going to take the weight of the new flat roof dormer we've got, and it's probably worth mentioning now that the total steel cost for this renovation, 13 steels in total, was only £2,739, which I think was an absolute bargain. Because we got a quote from another company and they quoted us about £1,500 for just 3 of the steels. But me and Dan, the carpenter, boshed out this steel together, and Barney was cracking on getting the rafters ready to sit on top of the flat roof. Now you can see what I mean about them complicated cuts. I mean, now that it's done and we've watched the boys do it, maybe we could have done this whole job of the roof, but it would have taken us double the time and wouldn't have been half as good as a finish. So sometimes it's just worth getting the professionals in, watching them, learning and working around them. One of the jobs Nix and I were constantly doing was unloading timber deliveries from vans and bringing them to the boys, and then they were cutting them and then we were moving them somewhere else. Another more technical job we did was take out some of the bricks because they needed to have obviously a fascia that kind of goes over the brickwork that has a ladder connecting to the original rafters. So we chiseled out all them bricks, as you can see there. And here are the dormers starting to take shape. You can see them on the left there. Anyway, as I mentioned earlier, back onto the brickwork on these fascia boards because we're just supporting around the ladder wooden frame they built. And here is the dormer. In all of its beauty, you can really see it coming together from the road, which is so exciting. Honestly, every time I look at it now, I still can't quite believe that that is our house that we've changed from a crusty bungalow we got 8 months ago. It's a madness. And here is the dormer extension on the back. You can see it's a flat roof dormer that is going to have a bathroom in it for the second bedroom upstairs. Just the final layer of bricks now on this porch before we start installing the oak above it, and that's because before we had the engineered bricks for the rest of the courses with holes in, and we wanted a nice proper finish on the top with real bricks, so just did one more course there and installed a plate to take the bottom of the oak that you can see on the left of the frame there. That's just to stop the water getting up into the oak, basically. You can actually see the porch now on the bottom left of that shot, which is crazy. It looks beautiful. I mean, it was hard to film because there was so much scaffolding around it, but it was now time to felt and batten. Nicky and I could have maybe done this job by ourselves as well, but we called in an experienced roofer just for a day, and he helped us fly through this roof. We got it felt and battened all in one day between the 3 of us, which was an amazing bit of work, and you can really see it starting to become more of a home and less of a building site by the minute. Now, we worked out in last week's video that I think this whole roof project alone, up to felt and battening and the price of tiles, has cost us around £8,000 to £9,000 in timber. That's for all the rafters, for the OSB board going on this flat roof, for the insulation, for the tiles. There's a lot of big spends in there that it just starts really adding up, but still a significant amount less than our extension, which was interesting. So maybe it's cheaper to build upwards rather than outwards, but that's just on our experience. I can imagine every site is different. Starting to build the flat roof now. I'm going for a cold flat roof this time, not a warm flat roof, which was just a decision we kind of made last minute. What you might be able to see in the left top there, crazy stat, is that only 52% of people that watch our videos are actually subscribed, and I bet it's going to be less that watch this time lapse. So if you guys do fancy subscribing, please do join us for the journey, because there's plenty more of this still to come, and it's weekly and fun uploads. I promise you that for free. There are so many other jobs though that we've done along this way in this past 8 months that we haven't mentioned. Like we did a whole fence line, and that digging fence holes, by the way, no easy task. We've kind of got this whole back area ready for a patio because we used all the brickwork from our chimney. As you can see here, we broke every brick up to use as hardcore for under our patio because we didn't want to lug all the bricks to the front, and it just made perfect sense. But yeah, just so much time, love and effort has gone into this renovation so far, and we've been so chuffed to share the journey with everyone that's watched along. And if you're new here, come and join the journey now. It's definitely not too late. You can see the back garden starting to take shape, It just needs them finishing touches. It might not look like it, but it does. Obviously, I have mentioned that we've been living on site this whole time, and it's not for the faint-hearted if you guys are thinking about doing a renovation project of this scale, because this is the room we currently live in. I mean, we stripped the wallpaper and we kind of got it plastered, got the first fix electrics done, put a temporary carpet in, and that is where we currently reside, evening in, evening out. I don't have any regrets with this as such. I absolutely love living in our home, and it just means that you can wake up every day on site and be ready to go. Okay, so a very important part that a lot of you might be here for is the total spend on this renovation so far. Now, so many of you guys were guessing in the comments of last week's vlog as to how much we have spent, and we can reveal that the person on the screen now was the closest to getting our total spend right, because our total spend to date in the last 8 months is a whopping £69,116.74. That is a whole lot of money considering we've done most of the work ourselves.
It's on my goodness, we're poor.
Well, help us. Jokes aside, we have absolutely no regrets. This house is really starting to come together.
It's crazy just watching back this video and realising how far we've come, because it feels like it was only a couple of weeks ago that we were doing the retaining walls for the front garden and trying to get our driveway done. Just crazy how quick the time flies, and we have absolutely loved this renovation.
We've loved it so far, and there is so much more to come of this renovation. So if you guys are first-time viewers here, then make sure you do hit that subscribe button, because every Sunday we will put up a weekly upload. And we do put a lot of pressure on ourselves to make sure there is a lot of content for you to watch on those Sundays. We crank it hard every week, don't we, Nix?
We do. We're ill all the time because all we want to do is make sure we've got enough progress in these videos. So you know what? If you're thinking about it and you're a little bit tempted to, just do it. Press that subscribe button, and we will see you every.
On today's episode of Watch Jericho, I am here with Eric and his 2005. Wow, I actually didn't even know they made them that long. Ford Ranger. They quit making them for a long time.
They're like $100,000 now.
They are like $100,000 now, that's true. And today, we're going to deal with the terrible shifter these things come with. What is going on, guys? I am Watch Jericho, and like I said, I'm here with Eric and his 2005 Ford Ranger, and this truck is beautiful. Somehow it has 130,000 miles on it, but it's flawless. It cleans up so well, but the big problem with it is the shifter is terrible. It doesn't feel very tight, and the throw is so long. When you're shifting, you're like, did I find the gear? So it's in neutral. Here's
way more shift than there is clutch.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just not a good mixture.
That is kind of what it is. The clutch engages really soon, and then it's really hard to find gear. So 1, 2, so if we measure that throw, we should just actually measure this, but just look at it. It's huge. And then there's 3, 4.
Probably have like 8 inches between each.
Yeah, I'd say 8 to 10 inches for sure. There's 5, and there's reverse. Anyway, this stock shifter, it's not good. We're gonna get rid of it today and replace it with race car parts.
This is the only Ranger though that has good bookings in the shifter.
That's true. So here we have the Hurst billet shifter for the Ford Ranger. And what is funny is they actually did make this forever. This fits Rangers from 88 to 2011, which is insane. So we haven't seen this yet, but it's gonna be awesome because the Hurst shifters always are.
You think that's when they cut Ranger? It was 2011 and brought it back like
They brought it back in 17 or 18?
18?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Yeah, so it was gone for a long time, but
Don't you have an 88 Ranger?
no. Josh does.
Oh.
Yeah, Josh has an 88 Ranger.
Josh be like, what? I'm getting a shifter?
Yeah. Nope. Sorry, Eric got this.
Give me one thing, Josh.
Josh has something really crazy coming up for the $700 Bronco.
He did an amazing job on the. He's just a good guy.
Yeah. All right. So here we have.
There's the boot.
Yep. So we got a boot, and then in here we have Here, pull in the box.
Big money item.
Big money. Look at that. Our short throw, her shifter.
This is how you beat box hands.
I like it. And man, your truck's about to be awesome.
Dinosaur bone, 100%.
Pure
That's what you always said on the. What was it? The SRT4 had a
dinosaur bone.
white
It was the Hearst.
Hearst.
Yep.
And you always said pure dinosaur bone.
I need one more hand to operate
Towards
knives.
myself.
Absolutely. It's the only way. Yeah, buddy.
Thanks, Sean.
Oh, it's brand new. I had to get another one.
I gave you
The screws fell out of the old one. But hey,
Just kidding, Gabe.
they always last like 10 years.
Every knife I've ever had, my dad's taken away, and they're still in his top dresser drawer.
Is that how that
So,
works?
I can almost 100% guarantee. I can have box knives, and that's it. That's way. Oh, there we go.
I thought you were gonna do like a flip with it. You go over it.
Yep, that's right.
And it came with a sticker, so you guys know what Eric's off doing now. He's busy doing the. It's probably at least that should be 10 horsepower, right? Nobody's tired of hearing the stickers at horsepower. Getting the shifter out. So underneath the boot, screw holes, and it's just 2 Phillips screws sitting here. So if we can get this thing to start, just about got that one out. We'll take the other one out, it's sitting right over there, and this whole console should come right off. This is a Hearst Edition Ranger. Okay, back to the install. Okay, last time playing with the sloppy shifter in this thing. We got the 2 screws out. Hey, look at that, free money.
Hey,
You just got
on my
it
way
right.
back.
All right, so there should be a bolt or something. Let's take a look. Yeah, there's a big old nut too. It's like a 3/4 or something.
There's at least 12 sweet spots left.
Awesome. Okay, so we got the nut out of there. But you take the nut that you pulled off on the passenger side, lift this back up on the driver's side, and start the nut. And then put your impact on there, your ratchet, whatever you got, and tighten the bolt, and it will pull this thing out. Yeah, it's loose, isn't it? What we ended up doing here is taking the nut back off after we used it to pull the cam through, putting it on the other side, giving it a couple taps with the hammer, and hey, the entire thing, the old floppy shifter, is out. Now there's just, looks like 4 Phillips right here. Pull them out. That'll let us get this plastic piece off.
I like the computer right there.
Yeah, I think that's the airbag computer. Probably. It's got. Well, there's no orange wires. It could be traction or something.
Can't see what it says.
Oh yeah, restraint control module. That's airbag for sure. Made in Canada. You'd think there'd be a lot more yellow around that thing.
It is a very simple truck. So.
It is. We grabbed me a stubby Phillips in the toolbox. And now we can pull off the plastic cover. It's funny, it's for the Ranger and the Explorer. It says right on it, Ranger front. And now we have 3 screws under here, T30s. And we should be able to just yank this up as soon as we're done. So let's pull the screws out of here. These are covered in oil. Absolutely covered. Don't fall. I got it. Nailed it! Nothing fell in there, so we're good. Okay, so we are ready now to swap in.
So that's literally just up on the top of the trans then.
Yeah, that's right into the transmission right there.
The instruction is don't let anything fall in there.
And then I moved all your coins around, but maybe if we put some money in the transmission, it will become better.
That's the definition of money shift.
Yeah, money. I'm gonna get your new shifter all oily before it goes in. Just, you know, makes it faster.
Yeah, thanks.
More slippery. Anyway, so you have to make sure these are the same, like, mounting depth. And if you put these right beside each other, the bottom of the mounting versus the inside bottom of the mounting on the old plate, this one lines up exactly. So you can measure this or test fit it until it works, but that seems to work for me. I like how I did that. So what we have to do now is take this apart, pull out these 4 screws, and then install the lower plate right here with this gasket and those 3 countersunk screws right there. So, use my handy dandy screwdriver knife. Didn't work one bit. Hard to get this thing in there. and I want to remember that like that screw goes forward. Okay. It's a triangle, but it doesn't matter which way it goes. Put the gasket on here. This hole still goes forward. Like, carry it so it's clocked to the truck correctly or something. And we'll install this. Never mind, you can't mess it up. These set screws here on the bottom positively locate the thing. So it should go in and like wiggle down. We're tightening down the last of the 3 screws here. Holds on this base plate that the Hirsch shifter uses. You probably don't need to be too tight on these, just snug them up. Check each one, and yep, we're good.
Back on.
Yeah.
What do you think? 100 foot-pounds?
100 foot-pounds at least. Yeah, the half-inch torque wrench. Yeah.
Snap them all off.
250 probably. Here goes the cool part. There they are. Cool. All right. Got it started. The seal. Check everything out on it. Seems good. So the gold ratchet. I mean, this is a Hirsch shifter. You're allowed to use a gold ratchet on it. Okay, let's test it. Oh man.
Here, let me get it.
Dude, that is like, we just went from 8 inches of throw to like a nice positive, about 4 or 5.
I mean, you might have cut it. It might be a third of what it was.
Dude, I love it. Okay, let's get the rest of this all together.
We're back.
Looking
Okay, I'm going.
This is Burger King. McDonald's.
The Grinch will Burger King later. That's in the next video.
Okay, this is the McDonald's Grinch meal.
Which, if you look at the box, it says, "This was my idea, Grinch." So he came up with this, and it says, "Festive, ew, Merry Grinchmas."
The McShaker fries, all for me. It's empty.
Did you ever do McShaker fries?
I don't know
I
what that is.
think actually you saying that shows no.
Yeah, what is
Let
it?
me teach you. Get your fries out.
Also, our driver stole all of our fries.
Take your bag. Open the bag. You're gonna dump your fries in. I think they still do these in Japan, if I'm not mistaken. But they stopped here years ago. And pull out your dill pickle seasoning.
My dill pickle seasoning.
Are you a pickle fan usually? Like
I
on
like
stuff?
pickles.
Yeah.
Pickles are good.
You're gonna open your seasoning, and you're gonna dump it in the bag.
Oh yeah.
Make sure to get it all out.
That's very, very pickly. They did a good job on that. And then I'm guessing this.
You're good, yeah. Do that, and then you mix bacon. This good for the audio?
Yeah. You know, I'll take the pink too.
Pour, sprinkle, roll, shake. Yeah.
Huh.
I forgot the roll.
I did that part? Yeah, I almost told you, they always said you roll it so the seasoning doesn't come in.
Very cool.
I can't believe you've never had
I've never
shaker
even
fries.
heard of shaker fries.
I don't remember the seasonings they used to have.
Wow, that didn't spread very evenly.
No, yours did
That's
not.
'cause you
Look at
didn't
mine.
roll
Look
it.
how beautiful it is.
Well, a lot of good pickle coming in,
Want
I
me to
guess.
shake it for you?
No, I'm fine. I made my bed. I'll lie in it. Wow. Can you see that?
Yeah, you got a lot on that
Okay,
bucket.
maybe I'm gonna mix shake that shit again. That's just an instant kidney stone.
Or try the pickle. Wow.
Oh, well, for different reasons. My reason is these are good.
That is actually pretty good.
I gotta learn
Chelsea,
that.
come have pickle fries.
Well,
They did well. They did really well.
Oh, delightful.
Oh, I thought you hated it.
No, I feel.
You
it's a
hated
little
it?
shocking if you're not ready for it, but it actually does taste good.
I should stop.
That's very good. Wow, thank you, Grinch.
You did a great job. What do you do to my nuggets?
That's the meal. It's like the shaker.
Are there 10 nuggets in there? Is that the toy?
That's the toy. You okay if I open the toy?
Sure.
I really.
Well, you should have one too.
Are they different? They're multiple.
They're multiple.
Do you
I
also have
guarantee it.
nuggets?
Yeah. No, I'm a big guy.
Oh, gotcha. And there's nothing special about those? Well, to answer the Grinch where he says this was my idea, it was a shit idea. And
I
my-
got socks.
I got socks too. They're the
Whoa.
same fucking socks.
Same socks.
I think that's a pretty good, like, as an adult, I think that's pretty good. I don't know if a kid would like socks, but I
I
would
can't
like
read it because it's on the bottom. Nose hazard. That's, I can read, right? That says nose hazard?
socks. Yeah. Yeah,
I was thinking like somebody would kick me in the face. Alright.
Yes, that's what the Grinch is known to
Alright,
do.
Danny loves socks.
I'll wear those.
Alright, and then we got the Big Mac.
Big Mac. Yep, that's a
Yeah.
normal Big Mac.
You don't know that. They gave me sweet and sour sauce, just like the Grinch.
They gave me Big Mac.
Just like the Grinch. Whew.
Am I dumb? Or does that patty look a little different?
I don't know.
He just grinched on
No,
it
looks
a
like
little
there's
bit.
like egg on it, right? Is it that layer right there? It doesn't look like a little egg?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder.
No, maybe it is just. Yeah, maybe it is.
I don't know if it's any different.
Is it eggy?
No, it's just Big Mac.
Is it good?
I miss a Big Mac.
Here, I'll try it. You want a Grinch nugget?
Yeah, I'll take a Grinch nugget. Yep, that's a nugget.
That's a Big Mac. I can't believe it's exactly what Chelsea told us it was.
Okay.
You got any more Grinch salt to put on the nuggets?
Oh, good idea.
There's none.
Wait, let me have a plain one before we Grinch it up.
Here, I'll take one too. I don't need sauce. What are my options?
Do you want to know?
Fuck it.
Definitely the Jim Carrey one.
Yeah, I've only ever seen the Jim Carrey one.
Jim Carrey was made to play the Grinch.
Yeah, have you seen the original animated? Oh wow.
I've only seen the Jim Carrey one. I've seen. I read it in the book though. I've never watched it. Yeah, animated one.
The Grinch definitely.
It is probably the worst writing I've ever watched, and it was beautiful. It was absolutely
That's fun. That's always fun.
I think the Grinch was, and this probably isn't a hot take, extremely justified to be the way he was. They were horrible to him.
I don't remember. What did they do to him?
He just was made fun of and bullied everywhere for being green. Yeah. It was just racist.
Yeah, but they got over it, alright?
Yeah.
So wasn't fair. So he stole Christmas and then they forgave him? I don't remember the story.
He stole Christmas.
No, he stole Christmas and then he realized his wrongdoings and became
Brought
nice.
Christmas back.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. The one non-racist who treated him like a human being.
Yeah, but essentially, beginning the umbrellas carrying the babies accidentally blew him into the wrong town. So he was supposed to go to the Grinch land. He ended up in Whoville. Nice family accepts
See
him.
that?
Treats him really. It is.
Yeah, that's the Lord.
Nice family accepts him, treats him well, and then as a kid, the mayor fucking shits on him. The kids in his class shit on him. He tries shaving his face. He gets little scabs. They make fun of him. It was just mean. So he hides up in the mountains away from everybody.
Or is that he was meant to go to a place with other people that look like him?
Right, it's literally racism to stuff.
Why was that?
I'm not kidding, it is. Like, it literally is.
The delivery system was flawed at the time. You didn't come out of a person. You came in on an umbrella egg thing.
Right.
So. Yeah,
Right.
so big wind. He was playing Fortnite.
He dropped in Pachinki.
I'm sure they never showed Grinch.
It's kind of like in Avatar when all the airbenders are dead.
Yeah.
That's why when it is when he's fixing Christmas, he gets those arrows that start glowing.
Yeah.
Also, this Big Mac was pretty good.
Yeah, it's a big Mac.
I would say,
I mean, you get a meal.
yeah, very underwhelming.
You get socks.
You get socks. I appreciate the McShaker fries. That's cute. I
Oh, they're
guess.
great. I think they should bring back shaker fries all the time. They could have done others.
Yeah, like garlic, parm type stuff like
I
that.
feel like we're not used to. You don't really see McDonald's doing a shit job. They normally put their best forward, like that Sweetie meal.
Yeah.
Wait, wasn't that literally just the sauce?
They actually just get. She was like, I like putting nuggets on my burger, so they give you nuggets in a burger, so you can put
But
nuggets on.
it did have sauce though. If I remember
That's
right.
right. The
The
Sweetie
Sweetie
sauce.
and sour sauce or something.
Oh,
like
Yeah,
that.
or something like that. Yeah. They had the BTS one too. That one was the most lazy.
What about that one?
That one was, I think. Yeah, it was just chicken nuggets. I think they didn't even give you a special sauce. It was just chicken nuggets. No,
They
they
didn't do anything.
gave you sweet and sour sauce as well. I think.
And then they gave you the sweetie and sour sauce again.
I think also the jujitsu Kaisen one was really bad too. That one was just like.
We instantly thought of 400 better ideas with that one. Like they didn't do one thing right with that one. This one, they just needed to do more. Like at least make green mayo on the burger or something.
Yeah, it's just very uninspired. No one cares anymore about these collabs from the corporate perspective. They fucked up. Good dill pickle sauce, like salt though.
Yeah, here, I'm gonna look it up real quick because I'm pretty sure. Why is my microphone on my phone? Who's listening?
Oh.
He's trying to voice
No.
Hmm. Do you think the Grinch, the Grinch saw return on this deal that they put together
No
with McDonald's?
shot. What do they even get out of this?
Yeah.
What if when you finish the shaker fries at the bottom of the bag, it says the Grinch will return, and they have to like a really pretty remake
Alright, here we go. They have roasted garlic butter shaker fries in Japan. That sounds much better. Ume nori, they're called shaka shaka fries. Red pepper, they have a lot of flavors there.
That's cool.
So,
And they used to do it here?
they did. And when did they stop?
It's in the 90s when I looked it
I was gonna say I don't remember doing them.
I'm an old man. So, I guess that one was underwhelming.
It was fine though. I liked it. That was a special experience.
Oh, why McDonald's is permanently replacing this from November 23rd. Replacing shaker fries with.
Normal fries.
Hey, this was a scam site that brought me to an AI thing. Whatever. It was fine.
Yeah, it was fine. I mean, it is what it is. It's
Alright.
fucking fries and nuggets. Or fries and a Big Mac.
With one of the disappointing turnouts from McDonald's, do you think Burger King SpongeBob collab beats it or falls flatter?
It can't fall flatter. It's just
It can
two
be
items.
it can be bad though.
It can be bad, like it
Right.
can taste bad.
Yeah.
But I feel like as far as like what you get, it can't be less than this. Well, actually, you got socks. You got socks.
I did get socks.
You got
You are
socks.
right. We're discounting that because they're not edible. We got
Yeah,
socks
that's true.
and shaker fries.
That's true.
And a box.
In a box.
In a box.
That's true. I didn't think
Which,
about it.
remember, it's Burger King. They may not give us a bag or box. They may not do anything for it. It might just be called SpongeBob.
That's true. I just feel like there's no, like it can't go lower. It's just my hunch.
Well, and as Burger King says, we can.
they do typically do that, yeah.
Are we doing? I know your answer based on the extent of what was in this. You want one video or two?
Let's see the Burger King meal.
All right, so
All right.
just in case.
Yeah, let's just do an outro just in case.
Yeah. Before the outro, I'll do a little. Are you editing this? There's a screen light for Charlie. All right, do an outro.
Burger King, McDonald's Grinch, fuck yeah. Love that guy. That was fine. That's the guy. Thanks for the collab, McDonald's. You did it again. You knocked it out of the park.
You're sounding more and more like Rick and Morty.
2 days no sleep.
You dip into Rick and Morty land.
Yeah. It's the Bikini Bottom Burger King blowout. You got the Burger King SpongeBob collab.
They made a box.
They
We
got
thought they wouldn't.
They got the pineapple box. They got the Flying Dutchman brew.
We got a bag also with the Flying Dutchman. This is concerning to me right off the bat. You didn't drink any of
No.
this. It just was like that.
It's a slushie. So
They left room for Jesus.
Yeah, they left a lot of room for Jesus. I didn't know he was that big.
So this definitely melted then.
So there's
Yes.
some that's, like the one that Matt has is just a slushie, and the one that you have is Gophers. So it's a slushie.
It looks so good.
Oh, yours has cream.
Yes.
All right, should we drink these before they melt even more?
Yes, I would like that actually.
Maybe.
Ah, wonderful.
I'll mix it up so it's a slushy again. That actually
What flavor do you think it is?
green.
Mm.
2 salads.
Green apple.
Is that what it's supposed to be?
I would presume, one would presume.
Frozen drink. It says frozen Fantapa.
Oh yeah, Fanta Trop.
Oh, Fanta, I see.
It's very sweet. Yes. Would you like to try it Sam's ice cream?
Sure. I didn't taste the ice cream in mine yet, so.
I guess I know what ice cream tastes like and I know what that tastes like.
Does it taste the same? I'm getting the ice cream.
Pineapple. Or the pineapple.
Oh, pineapple. That makes sense. That's his home. What did they call it?
frozen Fanta pineapple,
Oh.
and then Pirates frozen pineapple.
I guess so that one's not yours, isn't it special?
So you can try the ice cream on top there if you want. It's fine.
It's crazy how much diet is such a layup.
I know.
That's what I was about to say. It's better with ice cream.
Yeah.
Shocking. Everything I know about this, you're going to with each item be like, why the fuck did they do that? Like,
That
why
makes
did
sense.
they not name the green drink Diet Dr. Kelp?
Yeah.
There were layups everywhere.
They could have given you a novelty drink hat.
Oh,
yeah.
He was number one. Man, we do this every time with Burger King. We just make it better immediately.
Just hire us as consultants.
Restaurants, you know, because they have a different drink. Like it's not, it is like Dr. Pepper or whatever.
I don't know.
How much? I wonder if there's some law around that.
That's a good question.
I wonder how much is like Viacom. They like, no, you can't actually use that.
Oh,
So yeah, that's ours. We don't want you to have it.
That'd be weird though, if you give them nothing.
Because why do it?
Alright, what is this?
That is Caster's strawberry.
These are cinnamon rolls.
Oh.
I think they messed up.
They're Galatians.
Ah.
It's just, yeah, it's part of the.
Oh. Do you want to say the dessert? I know you're just. Alright. I don't know what else is in here. There's 2 bags. Alright, what is this?
This is so silly.
You don't remember the episode where Mr. Krabs loves cheesy bacon tots and talks about it all the time?
I can see the correlation between crabs and bacon, like bacon, like money, making the bacon, something like that. That's it though. That's like the only line I can look at there.
This is a banger, right?
It is really good. Wait. There were 2, but one was simply an empty bag because Burger King has done it again.
No, that's the one. This is the other one. That just filled the bag.
Wait, what are those?
That's
That's just part of the.
That's good.
That's a big pot.
Look at the big one, which is enough.
One left? Nope, that's all in the pocket.
That's not that one.
That's a joke.
Those 2 items, immediately much better than everything Tom did.
Some of the best that Burger King's ever done beyond.
That was extraordinary.
We've said this before, anytime Burger King makes something in a fry or bigger shape, it's good.
Yeah, they fucking crushed this. I like that a lot.
Do you think they know they're bad at burgers and they just keep making them because it's in their name?
We just be king.
Yeah, we're this far, it's the sunk cost fallacy.
Man, those were good.
You must add that you into the bacon.
Yeah, that's alright. I'll go get one myself.
Well, I have eaten one there, but again,
No, that's alright.
Still horrible time for the show.
It doesn't match the theme, but great food items, for sure.
Like, I would actually say they should have just made this and not put
I have a question. Have any of you watched Current SpongeBob?
No.
Any of Mr. Krabs took a weird bacon cheese twist that we don't know about?
I started watching the most recent Sandy Cheeks movie,
I did not.
and I didn't see Mr. Krabs mention anything about cheese or bacon, but that we did suck major ass. What was the spoilers? What was the food plot? I don't remember, but I recall it was half animation, half live action. It was
Like when they put them on popsicle sticks and
Nope, it was like 3D animation meets like Disney like that sort of type of sitcom thing. I just
Sounds weird.
What were you saying, like an actress?
No, like, it was
like more realism animation.
Yeah, they had the same 3D animation that SpongeBob has become known for now, which is awful looking.
Terrible.
And then they had like a live action cast that was like the bad guys.
Oh.
It really is terrible. I didn't finish it.
And not a single mention of bacon cheese.
Not in the first 30 minutes.
What about city minis?
I didn't hear anything about city meetings in that movie.
That's a weird
Consistency, please. Reminds me of the sea, anyway. This is just cinnamon rolls.
Mm-hmm.
What's the name of those?
Cinnamon rolls.
There's no giant swing. That's fine. That's fine. Sometimes you just need to put a dessert in there. But I thought maybe they'd be like, like you spun Gary Shell.
That shouldn't fucking cinnamon.
Exactly. We got more.
Oh, see that?
I will say they're crushing guns.
Yeah. These items are so much better.
I believe. How to go? Oh yeah, and with the pie. We got Patrick Barnes, very shortcake pie. You remember Starberry shortcake pie? Remember that episode? If only they had a whole episode based around that pie being pie.
Yeah. If only. It'd be so convenient to have that.
Yeah, they'll get there. And then we got the most upsetting of them all.
Just a Whopper.
No, it's the Krabby Whopper.
It's the SpongeBob's Krabby Whopper. And if only in the show there had something to do with
I wonder if there's some reason they can't call it Krabby Patty.
I will say they did it a little fun. They're encroaching on Wendy's territory.
Yeah. The free patty.
Pretty patty.
Incredible.
Somebody eat it.
Nasty patty.
And he killed the health inspector. Oh yeah, that's Squidward,
Wow, lettuce.
Can we taste the yellow?
I did a little sleight of hand there. Call back to the episode. Here, pickle what I'm going to call them.
Oh, nice.
The pickles.
Gotta have a
One whole pickle's too much food.
It's good. That is a Whopper.
It's a Whopper.
What is it, a blue Whopper?
No,
It's fine. Thank you.
just a Whopper with a yellow bun.
Yeah, that's all. I mean, at least.
At least they tried a little bit.
Yeah.
He did. You know, we gotta have positive reinforcement here.
It is an effort to do something new.
And I'll say, effort on their part is new.
Yes.
They've never tried before.
They're trying. You're right. You're right. That is Burger King with all their own actions.
Keep going in that direction, and they took our advice again and made more palatable food.
Yeah. There's one more Burger King one.
They really understand palatable food.
Yeah.
Their chicken fries and all the other poppers.
The bacon cheese bites.
No.
Jalapeno bites.
Yeah.
And then we have the real star of the show. No pun intended. I didn't mean to do that. It was fairly. That's
Strawberry.
Yeah.
they invested me again. How the fuck are you supposed to
Yeah,
do
that's good.
I have. It won't open. The pies I buy only have one side. One side pies. They're high quality.
That looks good.
Oh, it's pink on the bottom.
That looks even.
Have you guys heard the new Ice Spice SpongeBob song?
Yeah, big guy.
Big guy. Big guy can. That's literally the chorus.
Big guy, and it's okay. What is happening? It's actually unbelievable.
In a good way?
No.
No.
It's fucking terrible.
I have to, yeah, I cannot imagine what the executives are like, yeah, this is run it.
That
This
is,
is the song.
no, it is literally like what Aaron and I would do as a joke, like if we were doing like a track together.
It sounds like she's
Yeah.
Is this it?
I don't know if you tried.
That sounds like it. That sounds like it. SpongeBob Big Bad Fans. Oh yeah, they're pretty good.
No, I was very disappointed. I was for it. I know, no diapers, no diarrhea, no Mr. Wee pants.
Oh, it's because it's Big Guy Fans.
Yeah, big guy pants.
Yeah.
Big guys don't poop their pants.
We probably did. We probably quoted that before. This is basically whipped cream. To be honest, there's a little bit of pink stuff at the bottom, but I think the pink stuff is pink whipped cream. I'll do one more bite. I mean, it's raw berry cream. Yeah. It's not bad, it's just useless.
Yeah, it's just a very, it's not really a
Yeah, I think they're really good. You're gonna have a different like story shape.
Why would they? Genuinely, why? I would wonder, genuinely wonder, how many people saw this collab coming out and be like, oh my god, I could be a fucking SpongeBob Burger King all ASAP. Like, there's probably such a small sliver of people that give a shit in the first place.
I bet you there are people that collect like every single collab.
They have a small sample size.
Yeah.
I would be so curious to see the number on how many of these they sell.
Yes.
Yeah. I'd also stop that.
I also wonder what it's like at the initial meeting where like we got the SpongeBob collab, here's all our big ideas and everything we want to do, and then just how that like every week how that changes.
At the very top they were like, we're gonna do a Krabby Patty, and they were like, no.
3 months ago.
Yeah, and the Wendy's one, they did pretty nice, right?
I think so,
It's
right?
much cooler. Exactly. Yeah, they tried much harder than they normally do.
Yeah, I think they did better than McDonald's.
They did. I feel you said this in the McDonald's, which was either right before this in this video or because they're getting so lazy. They're just going, okay, the Grinch is on this, go buy the Grinch meal. Like, he didn't do anything special. He's just.
Well, so here's the thing. I can almost guarantee, obviously, the market is kids. The kids don't care. Like, they want the SpongeBob meal. Once they've got the SpongeBob meal, it doesn't really matter what the SpongeBob meal is, I think.
No. No toy. That's a big wall for.
I guess it is.
That would kill it.
For big guy.
It's just hard. The only one who consistently puts crazy effort in is actually Wendy's. I feel like everything they've done, they give you 3 changed items that they tried.
I will say, they changed their items, but I also say the same way that Burger King did. It's not like they changed it that drastically.
That's a really good one. Burger King did exactly what take it back.
Burger King did basically do that, just only with one color.
I feel like this was a good amount of effort.
Yeah.
They just missed. Like, or have never seen the show.
I'm gonna try something new. I'm gonna be constructive.
The food was good. Like the bacon busters and the jalapeno poppers, those were good. And then the Whopper, if you like that, I mean that's good for you. I
That's why I do something. I explain that they're good at poppers and fry shape. They're good at frying things.
Yeah.
When you give them something to put in a deep fryer, it's
Yeah,
good.
they can fry it up.
They should have fried this fine.
They should have. Yeah.
Patrick Star was frying pop.
Except for their chicken sandwiches. Was that the one that you go with?
That one sucks. Yeah, that one sucks. Alright, I go back to the gummy handle shape. Alright, I would give this better than normal.
Yes, as far as Burger King options go, you get a lot of decent tasting stuff. But it was good. I just wish if you're gonna do a collab, at least make it exciting. That's all. That's all I'm asking.
Well, I mean, like, I've seen companies out there doing really cool collabs, like, that Cheeky Soap Company.
They do some good
I
stuff.
think they did, what, like Soul Leveling and Chainsaw Hill, and man, they hit it out of the park. The Cheeky Soap movie? Oh, the Chainsaw Man movie, not the Cheeky
To
Soap
celebrate
movie.
the Cheeky Soap collab, they released a whole movie.
Yeah, that was great. Boy, did they have to work fast. Yeah.
Thanks, Burger King.
Thanks, we should do a Burger King.
Oh man,
This soap tastes like shit.
Burger King is giving other people stuff. Like, it's reverse what you would think. You guys aren't doing Burger King soap, Burger King is doing cheeky, cheeky,
We should approach SpongeBob, now I'm breaking, sorry, we should approach SpongeBob about doing a SpongeBob Burger King meal soap.
So here's the thing. I think SpongeBob has been licensed out to so many people, it's not exciting at all.
I agree, everybody's doing it.
Yeah, I literally just don't think it's exciting.
I think to Aaron's point, Wendy's, I mean, I think it was a year ago.
No. It was actually when it was
warehouse.
We never did it.
No, I think you guys, I remember you guys discussing if you wanted to do it here or after.
I think we never did it.
Shit. Missed opportunity. Yeah, this being with two major fast food chains that quickly is just insane.
Nationwide is so much more than a great insurance company. They're one of America's largest financial services companies. Like, I'm more than just Peyton Manning. I'm also motivating Manning. When I say insurance, you say financial services. Insurance. Financial services. Insurance. Financial services. Now, when I say nationwide, you say it's both. Nationwide. Nationwide. For your insurance and financial needs, Nationwide is on your side.
Nationwide Investment Services Corporation of Finnegan, Columbus, Ohio.
Which, to be fair, one of the best from that era, the Chimera, a creature that we know has been in the back of Creative Assembly's vault for a long time, seeing as it was in the artwork before the release of Warhammer 3, the Dreadmore, a creature from the Forge World era once again in Monstrous Arcanum, finally makes its appearance in the form of a Norse monster. And lastly, we have a brand new generic Lord, the Great Sorcerer Shaman. This has access to the same laws that the normal Sorcerer Shamans can have, and a Familiar Noble, allowing you to have yet another Familiar generic character, which is always good to see. The Familiar have been largely ignored for quite some time. Now, the first thing that you can see from this list is, well, it's kind of disjointed, isn't it? And I would agree, but all of these are kind of linked up. The Bearmen are obviously Norskins, the Atins are a Northern Norskin tribe, Chimeras can be found pretty much anywhere around the Chaos, well, tainted lands, and there's quite a lot in the Warhammer Fantasy universe. Kurgans, well, they are only introduced because Kurgans are attached to sailors, so I do appreciate that. The Dreadmore seems a bit weird, considering that lore inconsistencies for the Dreadmore, even the recent stuff, has been kind of throwing it all over, including the vampire cats trying to summon one at some point in Norway, and when you know that all these settings are very much attached. I think the additions overall have been kind of fine, and they have performed as well as they needed to, especially since the legendary hero boosts up the Bearman. It's also nice just to have a generic stop waypoint, so it's not just Marauders going straight into the champions. The Kurgans have been very, very useful. The only thing I would say is it's pretty disappointing that the Kurgans don't have a bowman variant. You see, this would have been the perfect time to introduce some bows. At the very least, one is for Norska, as Kurgans do use bows, it is fairly well known. And it would be good to have some very decent skirmish cavalry. The Border Horsemasters is alright, but it kind of fits off the theme, especially when Sail has faction effects to make the Kurgan horsemen a little bit better. Holes aside, I very much doubt that we're going to be getting a full Kurgan faction at any point, because there's not really much that can be done there, so at least we got some representation of them in game. So after playing around with Sail and the Norscan units in not only Sail's faction, but alongside Wolfric and Frog, can I recommend this DLC to keep note here that I'm not going to be talking about how they benefit the Wars of Chaos Beastmen until the end of the video. So, I would say that Sail's faction, very, very enjoyable, a little bit harder than Frog and Wolfric, and expected considering the location that is based. I do feel like there are certain holes there that could have made the faction a little bit more enjoyable, like further expanding the map further north. There does seem to be some powers that be that does not want that to happen, whether that be from Creative Assembly or Games Workshop is yet to be fully realized just yet. There are of course assumptions, but we can't start villain batting people for the sake of villain batting people. The campaign is generally quite enjoying though. Going down into cafe and fighting against a lot of factions gives you the variety. It also allows you to be able to pick up a lot of your special effects getting very quickly up there. The campaign itself is also centered around campaign, which is good. It actually gives a little bit of a threat there that really has not been there for a while. For those who like to nitpick, I'm talking about Chaos threats. I know Luke here and the Death Monster there, but there has not really been much of a Chaos presence that lasts for a fair amount of time. Village dies relatively quickly, and Zata normally gets stomped on by Kolek or Grimgor. Unit-wise, I can't seem to find many faults. The Athens are pretty useful. The Chimera is incredibly powerful and does bring in a much requested unit for a certain amount of time now. The Surprise of the Kurgans and the Bearmen brings in quite a lot of flavor. It's certainly unit types that we've already seen before, but the most important thing is the variety. It's showing much more cultures throughout the Warhammer Fantasy world, something that we slowly get through DLCs, but it's a very slow grow. I will flat out say, however, were there not a Norsca rework attached, which we'll go into detail later on, yeah, I would not recommend this DLC. No way in hell. The rework is what really sells the faction. That means that
There it is.
sale right from the very beginning, that's for sure. But
That
if
one I
you
wanted
pick
to
them
see
up, you
first
will
thing.
feel like it's campaign, and it's not as soul-sucking as Norsca was prior, given the fact that Norsca as a faction was atrocious and consistently atrocious. The new units will also fall in line with some being the Wars of Chaos and some being the Beastmen, so you do get a little bit of extra bang for your buck. I am not going to give a rating to the individual world packs, instead I'm going to give a all-in-all rating, as I still count these as a one DLC release. But Sail is a short campaign for that really, but very, very enjoyable. I had fun not only recording videos, but also doing a stream, which if a campaign is fun to stream, it generally means that I will just close out the stream early and call it a day. Next we're going to jump into the Charla the Denied One. This is the legendary Lord Forsamesh, paid one, as there is a free one also. And she's a character that I was expecting for a long time. The moment that we started seeing Monogod Mortal factions, it was that or, well, there was no really other options. Now, I do have a bias towards Slaanesh, and expectations were probably higher for Slaanesh than there have been for any of the other factions introduced in this DLC. And I'm pretty surprised to say that Creative Assembly actually did deliver. I was expecting a Tamacon level campaign, and what was I presented with? Well, more along the lines of the Chaos Dwarfs. She has so many mechanics, including 3 different types of settlements, you've got a pleasure palace system, a thrall system. There is a lot. Yes, some stuff has been lifted from the Chaos Dwarfs, but I think that actually makes a lot of sense. What I've always been advocating for is if you can reuse a mechanic but make it entirely unique, why not? And this is exactly what's been done. Some stuff has changed around, there's not a system of making multiple things to get to unlock units. Instead, you're using thralls for practically everything, but it's allowing you to then pick up Decadence, which then gives you faction-wide effects, which then gives you powerful items, which gets you into bigger battles, which will then give you more thralls, and so on and so forth. It's a cycle which I very much enjoyed, and it was pretty obvious when I titled this my favorite campaign on the thumbnail when I did my showcase for the Charla the Denied One. I was not expecting so much work being done on that character, and kudos to whoever must have come up with that campaign style. I could not have even come up with that myself. No matter how hard I tried to think about Charla, that was something incredibly surprising. To say this is obviously a big compliment, you know how critical I can be of creative assembly, and rightly so in certain circumstances, but I could not really find too many faults with each other. Sure, the throttle system is very slow at the beginning, but it does actually build up longer and longer. And for those people who think, well, it sucks because you need vassals and the vassal system is pretty awful, yes, I do agree with. You can essentially ignore the vassal system, getting just one if you want to just get a little bit of a trickle in, but as you go through your warfare, yeah, you're perfectly fine. Yeah, you'll be stuck with marauders a little bit earlier, but the faction focuses around marauders, so you don't have to feel that you need to go to Chosen right away. Now, Slaanesh had a very colourful roster in the form of units. Stirkar was the legendary hero, which was pretty expected. Nothing wrong about that. In all honesty, he was a great character. Devotees of Slaanesh were introduced as a bit of a surprise, also available to the Dark Elves. I don't like the fact that they don't have their colouring. It's something very strange. Creative Assembly have commented on that, and we will actually comment on that a little bit later. But this gives you a crossbow unit, which finally, and a additional hand weapon unit, which, I mean, you're going to be practically ignoring in most cases. The Pleasure Seekers are a unit that I've been waiting a long time for. It's not because of the fact that it's a big meme, but actually I really enjoy those models, and I painted up a lot of them for the purpose of my old armies, or previously fantasy armies. It was imperative that the Slaanesh faction ended up getting some God-touched mounts in that regard, as yeah, you know, everyone else is getting something, and it would have felt extremely badly if they got nothing, which is something that happens a lot in Warhammer through the Games Workshop point of view. It's a bit sad that we don't have the multiple knights, and we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Damn.
So let's continue with other units. Sland Wars were very much expected. I mean, additional hand weapons. A lot of people did want the javelins, and it does seem like Creative Assembly apparently, as per the Q&A, which is widely missing at the time of the recording this video, to be odd. Yeah, they did flirt with it, but apparently it's just not going to happen. Alright, if the powers really say no, that's perfectly fine. The additional hand weapons does actually make them quite aggressive, and coming from someone who used to deal with Warriors of Chaos in Slaanesh or from Tabletop, the additional hand weapons were fairly decent. I see no fault in that. The Brighton still stands as something that I just don't see why it was introduced to Slaanesh, especially as there was mention of a giant chaos spawn in T'Challa's tech tree, and yet, yeah, it ended up being just a giant chaos spawn rather than a gigantic chaos spawn, which I think would have been much better here. Yes, some people might say classification because of Braytons having something near Athalora, blah 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 blah. Still, it's a Beastmen unit, not a Slaanesh unit. They were created by Grey Shamans, they were not created by Slaanesh. It feels very out of place, and I will continue to say it feels out of place. Now, when we go into the Lords of the Heroes, this is where things get a little bit more interesting. Chaos Lord, very much expected in terms of Demon Prince, all the usual stuff, that's perfectly fine. The Druchii Anointed was a very big surprise because this was one of two generic heroes. Slaanesh got less in terms of units, but actually got more in terms of heroes. Druchii Anointed being a minor spellcaster, very hard hitter, very good at character killing. All your characters can also ride upon a demonic steed, which is once again the fatal Boomsnake. Again, very, very happy about that because it's something that really, really is important to me. It's very good to see the Mortals having that too. The last thing about the roster is clearly the Exalted Hero of Slaanesh, which, well, we were expecting, but obviously very, very different because it looks more like its original model from way back in the, well, one of the original models, because back then Games Workshop liked to create loads and loads of different character models. I've got that one myself, I'm really happy to see it, and I'm really happy. Now, I did miss out one unit, and I know some people are commenting, but that was on purpose. You see, the champions of Slaanesh aren't old, right? Every unit that we've seen introduced so far has existed in the tabletop or in the lore for quite some time now. The champions of Slaanesh are completely new, which, by the way, with the Warriors of Chaos, you can update the chosen Slaanesh with the champions of Slaanesh, giving us the first of the God-touched aspiring champions. And I'm honestly incredibly impressed. Obviously, the model is based on that of Vandred the Majestic, and what they decided to do is, rather than bringing in Vandred as another legendary hero, which I agree with, yeah, just make a new model, make a new unit. I don't know what work came into this. I don't know how much they had to plead with Games Workshop. but I am extremely grateful that that has happened. So would I recommend the Sinesh DLC in Tides of Torment? And I would say yes. With all the time I've spent here, I've been jumping in and out of Sinesh a lot. The fact is, I was not expecting that campaign. I said it. It's Chaos level campaignage, which is fantastic. That's what I want from Total War going forward, and it's been something that I've been advocating for a while. We need more campaigns like the Chaos Storms. Here I was saying more races, because more races could allow for more creativity, and then I'm absolutely slapped in the face and shown that it can be done with characters. If anything, Creative Assembly have shot themselves in the foot, because, yeah, the quality is there. You can expect that quality going forward, right? Right? A little bit of a fourth wall break there, but I think it's going to be kind of needed. That being said, yes, Sinesh, fucking awesome, and I think that's probably the only way I can say it. Yes, there's a little bit of a bias there, but once you guys jump into the campaign, you'll see it too. T'Challa is incredibly structured. Again, with the units, there's always extra value there. Because you're not just getting those units for the Sinesh, but you're getting those units for the Warriors of Chaos, for your Beastmen. Chaos DLC is very valuable. There is some clear issues with the devotees of Sinesh. I think that they just didn't have time to finish it. I think they didn't have time. Because if you look at the Anointed of Sinesh, the hero, yeah, the Anointed looks very, very unique. And there's a big question to be had there. Either they didn't have time, or something was crossed in terms of communication with the powers that be, which got that done. But the only real disappointing thing, and it is a really disappointing thing, is that the devotees are just recolors. It's not even a reskin, it's a recolor. Naturally, we know that Creative Assembly do want to change that up, and I'm kind of disappointed it took community backlash to get that acknowledged. I don't think that that should happen. Creative Assembly should be a little bit more proactive, and I'm fairly sure there's people at CA who look at those units and go, yeah, this is going to cause a bit of a problem. Whether they're listened to or not is beyond me, but we see these staff members up there in the interviews and stuff like that, those blogs. They are very passionate about this type of stuff. Fix that up and you'll get a lot more community favor, which leads us to our next point. As we're still not done with Sinesh, yet I will recommend buying the DLC so far. Had the T'Challa campaign not been as good as it is, I probably wouldn't have recommended this DLC as of this moment. It is the saving grace here, and I think it's very important to say why. So, Warriors of Chaos and Sinesh generally have accomplishments, right? Well, the monocles. They're mortal riders. The Nurgle has Rock Knights, Skull Crushers for Khorne, Doom Knights for Tzeentch, nothing for Sinesh. And that's something that we know now. There is a slight possibility that we'll get them down the line. This is something that was stated officially by developers and the influencer manager on one of the streams. My big question here is, why was this not in here originally? Sure, it might have been Games Workshop saying no, but did they fight hard enough for it? Considering that there is a very obvious hole there. Those Mortal Brute Snake Riders would have been a staple unit for Sinesh. Sure, it didn't exist on tabletop before, and they can't use that excuse because neither did Doom Knights. They never existed. Hell, there are a bunch of units in the game that never existed in Warhammer Fantasy or in Warhammer the Old World. Sure, the arguments could be, well, oh, there is a lore unit mentioned there and stuff like that, which, yes, I can understand. But there's a clear hole, and parity must be done throughout the gods. I get that we get the aspiring champions first, but I wouldn't be surprised if we'll get aspiring champions for the other gods in the future. This is a very big thing, and the fact that they were very open about it, yeah, that's great. Communication is very important. They still didn't really provide a lot of information, and it's something that we may or may not get, which now the expectation, regardless of maybe means nothing now. The expectation is that it's going to happen. It's a very clear hole, and it sucks that this
There we go.
It really, really does suck. It's not a deal breaker for Sinesh, but it's very close to it. The campaign, again, saved it. I don't know how Creative Assembly decides what units are going to end up in the DLC. What's the process? That's something that I, as a creator, will never be told, which kind of sucks. I would love to know the process about that. The problem there is this unit was a no-brainer. It should have been there. Right, before we jump onto the last faction, which is the High Elves, it's important to realize that Norska and the Sinesh DLC, both of them are going to be a little bit more valuable than the High Elves, purely because those units go around. The Devotees go to the Dark Elves, the Chaos Warrior stuff goes to the Chaos Warriors, right? A lot of stuff mixes around, so if the monsters go into the Beastman roster, a lot of them kind of intertwine. This is something that is obviously going to be a big push here, right? It's even better done now than it was for Omens of Destruction. And I think that's really important to talk about. The Champions of Sinesh being upgradable, awesome, right? But the Warriors of Chaos getting the Bearmen, getting access to the Dreadwall, getting access to the Chimera, that stuff is really, really good. And that means that if you don't really like Norska, but you can get a deal on it, you can end up getting those because you like playing the Warriors of Chaos. If you play Beastmen, you'd need 2 of the DLCs, but if you're normally buying all one, you're generally buying all of them, or just taking advantage of future discounts. I'm a bit sad that this method didn't extend to the High Elves, as the middle one would have been lovely to have with the Vampire Coast. And it's something that I feel is a missed opportunity, considering that the campaign for the Vampire Coast is centered around no ones, well, one specific, but DLC that specifically allows for a spread into other races and factions. And not only that, but it's handled better. Tamokan, for example, the Rot Knights were upgradable. Omens of Destruction, you could use the new units, you know, the Wrathmongers and Skull Reapers, but they were on that stupid RNG system, which is mostly how you're going to get like the Dreadmore and stuff, but you won't be doom stacking those. You will be doom stacking Champions of Sinesh or Rot Knights. I don't imagine this will be the last time that we'll see this. I'm expecting certain units appearing in the future which will allow for that. Obviously I don't want to discuss speculation, but it's something that needs to be taken into account constantly. Not only for this, but maybe even some future games, depending on the setting, of course, where appropriate. High Elves now, so we're going to be jumping in with Sea Lord Aisling. Now this was a character that a lot of people were expecting. Once again, Creative Assembly dipping back into 6th edition stuff, which I always will praise. 6th edition was the go-to the editions, and that's why the old world is based on 6th, right? So, Sea Lord Aisling has a very fun campaign because you're not going to be empire building. Some people were put off about that when they found out, but I think it works incredibly well. Because the Sea Lord does not build empires. The Sea Lord goes out and defends the empires, defends the kingdoms of Ulthuan, the princedoms of Ulthuan, and also goes to re-establish colonies, build up outposts, and support the other big names.
I'm gonna let them do their thing.
What's cool about that is that you're kind of building up a story. You're building up your dragon ships to deal with a threat. And we will talk about the narrative overall later on. But the idea here is you are expanding the borders of Ulthuan whilst also protecting it. You're going through what the secret role was established to do. While I do understand that a lot of people prefer the Empire build in Total War, when it comes to a setting like Warhammer, there are cases where you won't be Empire building. And I think that works out quite well when it's done appropriately so. And with Aisling as the example, I think his campaign was done wonderfully. Where I had so much fun dealing with the problems and supporting the High Elves. I was going down to deal with Kairos so I could save Teclis. I went up to Ulthuan to stop Count Noctilus, who for some reason is dealing with Ulthuan and taking it over without a problem. I kept feeding territories to Imrik in Grand Cafe so he could be closer to Miao Yin. The Confederation mechanic is there, but it actually isn't needed. I've never felt the reason to play Pokemon, even with this brand new mechanic, because I wanted to keep them alive. I wanted to see how...
Motherfucker. You fucking kidding me? Oh, that's cool. Not want to stick around for right now. Ugh, I do not remember. There's our bridge. Okay, we're on the right track. I don't know how the fuck I missed that. Okay. We got it. Yeah, we got it. Easy dub. Let the brewing commence. Bye, fucker. Shit.
My energy bill dropped from $150 to $50 by doing this. My friends laughed at me when I spent $40.
It's officially been 18 months since Nick and I bought our abandoned home. And at the beginning, there was a lot of doubt from people I know, from people on the internet. And I get it. I mean, just look at this house. It's pretty bad. But honestly, we weren't really shocked by this feedback when we finally shared it, because the first day we saw this house, the realtor told us it was a teardown. It was in the listing, there was dozens and dozens of people that actually went to this house and did not buy it. So we knew it was bad, this house. We knew. But luckily, Nick and I are probably the most stubborn people on this planet. And so, we didn't listen to anyone. We didn't listen to anyone. We just wanted to do our own thing. And I gotta say, thank freaking goodness we did. So today, I'm gonna start working on getting some of the furniture out, because when you buy an abandoned home, you get everything. Luckily, I'm not gonna be doing this alone. I have someone to help me. Do you want to show your face? Can you say hi? We're gonna try to move a lot of things today. Gonna move lamps first? I don't know how we're gonna move this. No, I don't have it.
Oh, beautiful furniture though, I must say. No trip. No trip times two.
How am I gonna move this piano?
I'll just lift it.
We're a good team.
It's a good team.
These are some nice legs.
These are nice legs. The top half should just move off, right?
Yeah.
You good?
I'm ready.
That's okay.
Getting drier. The sun's coming in. Look at this.
that?
This is ripping.
Motherfucker.
Oh, it's a big boy. Oh my gosh, this peels like butter. The carpet's even sticking to the cardboard. Oh gosh. Oh my gosh, there's more layers of cardboard in here. Well, we won't have to worry about peeling the carpet. It's with the cardboard. What are you gonna do?
I'm just gonna tip it over onto you.
Onto me?
Yeah. It's actually pretty comfortable.
Let's get rid of this carpet.
Alright.
I got a bid. I took Nick's mic away because he's being too noisy. Are you tired yet? I was tired 4 hours ago. Excuse me. Well, I didn't find a letter from Queen Elizabeth, but I found a picture of her.
Oh my gosh! Okay, go, 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 go!
I hope you guys are enjoying the 18-month recap video. It's kind of crazy that it's already been 18 months since we started this project. And ever since starting it, we've just spent every single minute just focused on this project, rarely taking breaks. And I've been learning that I need to, first of all, take more breaks, whether it's just like a 10-minute reading session or a walk with Jack, right? Or just even playing a puzzle game on my phone. You want to go? And if you enjoy playing mobile games, you've probably heard of Misplay before. And if you haven't,
And stuff. And you can actually restore it. So this is good to say. Ants, 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 ants. I can hear them, yeah. Like in the installation here.
Okay, so this is all the drywall from the 2 rooms. This master bed and this second bed, all the drywall out, but now we're realizing there's drywall in the bathroom, so I think we actually have to do a bathroom demo today too. Wow, that shook the toilet.
What?
That shook the toilet.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. So yesterday we got the whole kitchen empty, which includes the hallway.
Looks good.
It looks so pretty. I love how open it is. What do we do?
I think this is good for the house. It's relieving itself. It keeps on going too.
It's not stopping. It's like Jack peeing.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know if I cleared this up, but there is no asbestos in our drywall or insulation. We paid the money. We got the hazmat people in here. They tested every single nook and cranny in this house. No asbestos in this stuff we're catching, okay? We're gonna kick this wall down now. Where do you want to start first?
I think the house already started for us. The 3rd degrees. This is really nice wood. It's in such good condition. There's no rot, very little moisture. We're pretty lucky.
I got too scared.
It's so peaceful. I hear birds chirping, the sun's out, and I don't have to carry any more drywall. We officially got all the drywall gone in the dumpster. We'll get rid of the installation today.
Alright, I think we end stream there.